Welcome to Spread the Word, a podcast brought to you by Biz. Our mission is to interview and share perspectives on gender to our community. You're here with Audrey, Sydney, Ahana, Isha, Liz, Serena, Megan, Shreya, Seja, and Aaron.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Spread the Word. In honor of International Women's Day, we have the Biz board here with some of our old Biz alumni, and we're gonna have a really fun conversation today.
Yeah, and we're welcome today with three special guests. So if our guests, the alumni to Bayes and IMSA, want to introduce themselves and maybe the school that you go to.
Hi, I'm Dame Stranecki. I'm IMSA alum of 2020, and I'm at Northwestern University.
Hi, I'm Diana Gonzalez, also class of 2020 and also at Northwestern.
And I'm Karina and also class of 2020, and I go to the Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville.
Cool. So we're just gonna get started right away, I guess. So the first question is just how college has been going for you in general and the experiences that you've had so far.
College has definitely been interesting, especially during the COVID time. I would say it has been a little lonely. I think it's definitely hard to find like a group or a community, especially since we just moved in January. So that's been a little difficult. But other than that, it hasn't been like a terrible transition.
Is your housing still like roommates like normal, or do you have like one person per room or something?
Yeah, it's either or. A lot of people have roommates, a lot of people don't. So it kind of just depends on your like dormitory as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a single, so I don't have roommates. I have suite mates, so we have like a lounge and a communal bathroom. I don't really see them very much. I'm just gonna echo what Diana said. It's really weird during COVID. Like, I hear like upperclassmen talking about like, oh, you just gotta put yourself out there. It's like, well, if you put yourself out there, you get COVID. So, yeah. So I think it gets kind of lonely sometimes, and it is hard to find, friends, and it's also hard to like meet new people. So I have friends that I see pretty regularly, but I do want to talk to more people, people that I'm getting to know my classes, but like it's just always something. COVID is always something that you have to think about. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same for me. It's just really hard to meet new people, but luckily I've been able to form like a small community of people, especially having my roommate is really helpful because she's super outgoing. So it's hard to figure out like the line between staying safe, but also putting like your mental health like above that. So I don't know. It's just really difficult with COVID to know like how safe things really are because when you're meeting new people, you don't really know like what they do or where they've been and stuff like that. So that's definitely hard.
Do any of your clubs or anything that you're a part of meet at all, or is it mostly just like online that you're doing everything?
I'm actually not part of any clubs, mainly because like the club fair was online and like that was kind of hard to navigate.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything is online. Like 95% of classes and like 100% of freshman classes are online. And there's a couple like study groups that meet in person, but there's probably like 2 or 3 of those for the entire campus.
Yeah, for me, it's the same. I haven't really been able to like explore different clubs and things because everything is online. So it's kind of difficult to gauge what you're really interested in because there's not a lot of information that you can get and you don't really get to meet the people that run it and stuff like that. But I know our campus activities board tries to do things remotely and have like things that you can like pass by and pick up and learn something new and stuff like that. But that's like the extent of the activities that are going on.
Yeah, I'm also not part of any clubs, like Dana said. There's the running club. They like meet in groups of 10, but I am not in shape yet to go to that, so I have not gone.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of IMSA students are also like at least IMSA sophomores are having the same problem because it's like you're not meeting anyone in person and it's like a really different experience to like live on campus, So yeah, that's definitely something that's been different for us too.
I feel so bad for the sophomores. No offense to the sophomores,
Yeah.
but like I can't imagine how hard that is.
Yeah, and they're also planning on like bringing us back in like two cohorts. So like the first one is like half juniors and half are all sophomores. So they have to like kind of navigate for themselves. And so
Oh,
like there's
are
no one
any upperclassmen?
well there will be like half of the junior class there, but because they're doing
Okay.
like the first half of junior class and then in the second cohort it's like all of senior class and then the second half of junior class. So at least they'll have like a little bit of upperclassmen. Sorry.
The sophomores, I think they only have like 18 days. So it's like, I feel bad because you guys have to like navigate campus and I don't know, enjoy campus life. But really, how long do you have? Like, you have like 2 weeks basically. So that sucks.
And I feel like half of the junior class was only at IMSA for like a semester anyway. So
Yeah.
So, who do you guys like, look up to? Yeah, like someone you find as a role model, especially like as you've been transitioning into college and stuff.
this might be kind of basic, but for me, it's my mom. I think sometimes when I struggle at school, she was an immigrant from Mexico. I just think like and I know that's kind of toxic sometimes, like I shouldn't compare myself, but a lot of the time I do think like how hard must that have been for her. And so I think my conditions are a little bit better. And so I try to use that to push myself, but also just kind of recognize how hard she worked. And I don't know, I'm just like proud of her and I want her to be proud of me too. So yeah, I think I look up to her the most.
I totally resonate with that. Like my mom is like my biggest hero. Like she's always been there for me. So she's really like raised me and my sisters and like given us the opportunity to do so much more than she was able to. So I'm definitely trying to take advantage of that. Just like trying to continue like the groundwork that she laid, I guess, as a mom, but also as like a friend. Like she's always like been there when I needed to talk to her or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit hard being farther away at college now, but I still definitely look up to her and she's like up there for me.
I mean, I love my mother very much. I think honestly, like the female role model that I think about a lot recently is Erin Ryan from IMSA, my RC for 3 years. And I think part of that is because I'm here in this unfamiliar place, like haven't been here that long, and like I haven't even met my RA, right? So I'm like I think it's partly that I kind of miss that sort of support system, but like I think about it all the time, like what would she tell me to do? Like just because she like offered me advice so many times, and she is like does so much with her life, and she's such an inspiration to me.
That's awesome. From your current experiences, I know you haven't really been able to like get out a bunch, but do you see any like resources or support systems that you can kind of go to? Maybe like from the ones that you didn't go to at IMSA or the ones that you have and you want to kind of continue going to?
Do you mean like support systems like here at college or at IMSA?
Yeah, in
Okay.
college.
To be completely honest, I do not know of what resources might be offered to me here. Yeah, like Dana said, our RAs are not super like present, even though mine's my neighbor. So I'm not really sure, but I think hopefully over the years, like, or maybe even next year, I'll be able to like see who there is to like reach out to help. But as of right now, I do not know.
For me, I definitely have a support system with my roommate. Just we've gotten really close, so it's been really helpful to have somebody there to talk to. But kind of like Dana and Diana, like our RA is not really present, and I've lived here since the beginning of September. So even then, like he's usually not here, so there's not really that type of support system that you can build, and it's definitely a lot harder to like befriend the other people that live in your hall just because, or in like your suite or whatever it is, just because of the whole COVID thing. Again, it's hard to like reach out to them and like ask to hang out and stuff when you don't really know if it's safe or not.
I mean, yeah, currently at college, my support system is pretty small because, I mean, like probably the friends that I have right now. Yeah, but I feel like there's kind of like the upperclassmen support I think is missing a lot right now. And I think partly that's because of COVID. Like, like my orientation group was supposed to meet like once a week in person. And I think that if we actually did that with like our orientation leader and like kept up, like that would, in theory, would be a good support system. But because over Zoom, like none of us really talk and there's all those problems.
All right, so next we want to know about like any difficult experiences you've had in college, like whether it be difficult experiences as a woman or as a Zoom student or anything like that, just in general.
For me, it's definitely been hard as a Zoom student just because you don't have that same teacher to student relationship when it is over Zoom. So you don't really get to actively ask questions, especially if you have pre-recorded lectures. It can be a little difficult to know or to even go to a teacher's what do they call office hours. So I feel like that's been just kind of difficult. I know it would definitely be a lot easier if classes were in person and you were able to not only have the connection with your teacher, but also like the other students in the class. I feel like right now as Zoom students, we don't really know who else is in the class. So it can be really difficult to like talk to your peers and figure out the answer and stuff like that if you have any questions.
Yeah, something for me, I guess, experiencing the college campus life that has been a little hard is, for example, like going on runs by yourself when it's getting a little dark. That's always a little weird. But also today, I went to the library and it's kind of empty. I mean, it's supposed to be really quiet. There were some really creepy guys there, and I was so afraid going to the bathroom. I was like, oh, I think kind of just like things like that I should not be like afraid to go to the bathroom. But I don't know. That just stood out to me today about how kind of uncomfortable certain situations are if you're like the only girl in the room. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, same with what Karina said, that yeah, having Zoom classes, like a lot of my classes are like 100 people, so you don't get to know the professor, you have no idea who's in your class, like, and so it's really hard to like make connections that way. But also, yeah, like Diana, I totally get it. There's this parking lot that I have to walk through to get from the dining hall I go to my dorm, and so when it's like dark, like if I'm picking up a snack at like 10 p.m. and it's dark and like yeah, I know it's not something that I should really be too afraid of because the parking lot's probably like less than 100 feet, but it's always something that I think about every time that I walk through it. Like, oh, what if someone's waiting in the car? Like, and I hate that's something I have to think about, but it pops up in my brain pretty often.
Just adding on to that, I know for us on campus, we have like the blue light things that we have at IMSA, and like I know they're supposed to be there so you can like get to them quickly, but there are some points on campus where you can't see one, or you don't really know what's going to happen after you press the button and things like that. So especially when it's dark, it's really early or really late, you kind of think about that stuff without really like knowing why, even though you know why, but you don't want to, but you have to. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's kind of difficult having like all that pressure on you all the time just because we are women, especially when you're by yourself.
So then as kind of a wrap-up question, our last question is if you have any advice to the Bayas or about college or just life in general, just any words of wisdom from you guys.
I think the biggest piece of advice that I could give you guys is don't be afraid to advocate for yourself, because it's not always going to be true when you're in college, when you're in a 100% lecture and your teacher has 100 other students to like try to help, or yeah, or if you're like walking alone and it's okay to ask like one of your guy friends to walk with you. It's okay to like ask someone to walk you back if you feel unsafe, or if you're struggling, like you should be able to ask for help and you're not being bossy or needy. You're just asking for what you need.
Okay, my advice is kind of centered around IMSA, but I would just say to, like, I know it's been a hard year for you all, but just to try to appreciate your last semester there and the friends that you've made, because now I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how am I supposed to make as close friends as like my quad? It's really hard and it'll take some time. So I would just say cherish those last few moments that you can with the friendships that like you've made over IMSA. And yeah, college will be fine. I'm sure you guys will hopefully get a better start next year or whenever you go.
Yeah, definitely. You guys got to know that you're strong and independent, and definitely take that with you always. And also, I know the seniors don't really need it, but for the juniors, make sure you make good connections with teachers or your what is it called? Your CDRA, like Stephanie. What was that position called?
Your RA or RC. Why did I say
Your
RA?
Make sure you have a good connection with your RC. Obviously, you guys don't have to be like best of friends, but it's really helpful. I know it's definitely hard, and I don't really understand because I was able to make that connection. But yeah, definitely try to be close with your RC. Like they will help you out in the long run. Or if you ever want to apply for an RA position or apply to a position in college, they are definitely good people to reach out to because they know if you have a close relationship with them, they know what type of person you are and how committed you can be.
Okay, great. Well, those were all of our questions. So if any of you have anything else to add, feel free. But if not, thank you so much for coming on our episode today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that concludes another episode of Spread the Word. We really hope you enjoyed this conversation we had for International Women's Day and Women's History Month in general. If you did, make sure to follow us on YouTube and Instagram at @BEAS_IMSA for more updates on our podcast and other events we're holding. Until then, spread the word.